Okay, for this project, I'm using Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. It is a worsted weight 4-ply acrylic, but you don't have to use this kind. Any kind will work just fine. 4-ply yarn will work. And then you're going to need a zipper. I have a 9-inch zipper. It's probably going to be a little bit big, so a 7-inch would work too. 7 or a 9-inch zipper. And then if you want a small piece of fabric to line it, you'll need that, a regular thread and needle to sew on the zipper and the lining, and then any buttons or anything, that beads or anything that you want to embellish it with. And I am going to be using a 6mm crochet hook, or a size J. Okay. Get my yarn ready here. This is actually what I just made a big flower, big ruffly flower, and I'm gonna make 2 of these. So I already got one done. I'm gonna show you how to make the other one, and then they'll be sewed together with the zipper and some type of a little bitty handle or something. Just a smaller coin pouch or something, kind of what it is. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, you want to start with a slip knot on your hook. Okay, and now you want to do a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the first one to form a ring, like that. Chain 3, which is going to be our first, it's going to count as our first double crochet, and we want to have a total of 12. So what I'm going to do is 11 more double crochets through the center of the ring. So I'm going to go through the ring, grab my yarn and pull it up, and double crochet. Let me go ahead and count real quick. Count my chain 3. I got 5, 6, 7, 9. Got 9, and I need 12 counting that chain 3. So 10, 11, and 12. Now if you pull your tail, you can pull that center circle a little bit smaller usually. Or you can always start with the magic circle if you know how to do that. Now what you want to do is slip stitch into the top of your chain 3 and close that round out. And that's what you have so far. Now what you want to do is slips. We're going to be working in the front loops of these stitches. So you want to slip stitch into the front loop of the next stitch. So you see how there's 2 loops here. 2 loops to the stitch. We just want to go into the front one only. So just that one. Slip stitch right into it. Then you want to do a chain 3, and that's going to count as a double crochet. And we want to go ahead and put 3 more double crochets through that one loop, that front loop. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go to the next stitch and we're going to do 4 double crochets, and we're going to be doing 4 double crochets in every stitch, but only in the front loops. So go ahead and yarn over and go into the front loop of this stitch only. See, there's 2 loops, but I just want to go on the first one, and I want to do 4 double crochets through it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I want to work into the next one, 4 double crochets in the front loop only of the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 4 double crochets in the front loop of the next stitch, and we're just going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish mine until I get back to the beginning. Once you make it back around to the beginning, go ahead and slip stitch into your beginning chain 3. Like that. And then I'm going to tie this off. I'm just going to clip right here, put a little knot in it, and I can come back and hide that tail later. So now what we want to do is fold these down, and we're going to be working in these back loops of the, since we just worked in the front loops last time around. Excuse me. Now we're going to be working in the same stitch, but we're just going to be working in the back loops. So go ahead and start with a slip knot on your hook, and you can start anywhere you want. Come on here. So and with the slip knot on your hook, and you can see the back loops if you look right here, right here. They're pretty visible. You just go right into one, go through that slip knot on your hook, and we'll start off with the chain 3. Count as a double crochet. Go back into that same one and do another double, just like that. And then you move over to the next back loop, and you put 2 doubles in it. And then we move these down, these ruffles down, and then you move over to the next back loop, and you can see it right here, and you put 2 doubles in it. So what we're doing this time around is just put in 2 double crochet in each of the back loops of the stitches. So at the end you should have a total of 24 double crochets worked in the back loops. So I'm just going to work my way around, going in the back loops only, until I get back around to the beginning. And then we'll do another row of ruffles. So I'll meet you back at the beginning. Made it back around, and I counted, and I have 24 double crochets. So we want to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 to close that round off. Now we're going to do the same thing we did before. We want to slip stitch into the next stitch, only going through the front loop of it though. front loop only, slip stitch, and then we do chain 3, counts as a double crochet, and we're going to be putting 4 double crochets in every stitch around, working in the front loops only. So go on back into this stitch until you get 4 doubles, counting that chain 3. It's 4. And then we work into the next stitch, working in the front loop only. 4 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4. You go to the next one in the front loop only, 4 more double crochets. So just repeat this all the way back around. Just like that. Okay, I made it back around again. And again, I just want to slip stitch into the beginning chain 3. And then I'm going to clip my yarn again. Clip it, and we can hide them tails later. So that's what we got so far, and we'll have these tails hidden. Now we're going to go again. I'm just going to repeat what we just did. Start with the slip knot on your hook. And we're going to be working in the back loops again. We're going to be doing 2 double crochets in the back loops of each of these. So we're just going to be repeating what we just did. So you can start anywhere you want. Go into your back loop and go through that slip knot on your hook. Start off with a chain of 3, which is going to count as your first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Go back into the same loop. 2 doubles. Now we're going to be working 2 double crochet in the back loops of every stitch. So when you get done with this round, you should have a total of 48 stitches. 48 double crochets. And if you look, you'll see the back loops. They're pretty easy to see. So I'm going to work my way around, putting 2 doubles in the back loops of every stitch, and then at the end I'm going to count, and I'm going to make sure that I have 48 stitches. So I'll meet you back around again, and we'll do our last row of ruffles after this. Now I'm just working on my next row of ruffles. I went ahead and slip stitched, and then I slip stitched into my beginning chain 3 to close that round off, and then I just slip stitched over to the front loop of the next stitch. And now I'm going to work 4 double crochets in the front loop of every stitch all the way around. And this is going to be our next ruffle. So it's really easy, it's just kind of repetitive. 3, 4. Now jump over to the front loop of the next stitch. And 1, 2, 3, 'Trying to hide some of them tails as I go. 4. And now I'm just going to repeat this just like we have been doing. 4 double crochets in the front loop of every stitch all the way around. And I'll meet back up with you in the beginning. Okay, I finished that third row of ruffles and I tied off. And that's what we have. But what we need to do is one more row like this one. See, it has a row of double crochet, but I didn't attach a ruffle to it. That way we can hook it together on this row. So what we need to do is start with the slip knot. You can start anywhere you want. And we'll be working in the back loops too. Just the same as we've always been. So just start in any back loop. And go through that slip knot on your hook. And chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And then the repeat or the pattern for this will be, this is going to be our first double crochet, so we're going to just go into the next stitch and put 2 double crochet in the next. So 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and then in the next stitch it'll just get 1 double crochet. Two doubles in the next, and then 1 double in the next stitch. And we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around, and then we'll go ahead and tie off and we'll have our piece done. And you need to make 2 of them the same. And now I'm going to sew it together. The right side's facing me, and I'm going to single crochet it together. So I'm just going to go through a stitch on this piece. You can start anywhere, and a stitch on this piece, and go through it and do a single crochet. And I'm going to do this in every piece across, or every stitch across, but I'm going to leave it opening. Just like that. Go in a stitch on this piece, and then a stitch on this piece, single crochet. I'm going to do this all the way across. You want to leave your opening, and it depends on how big of a zipper you have. Oh, just like a cup, it's like an inch smaller on each side than the zipper. But I'll go ahead and work around, and I'll let you know how many stitches I leave open for the opening. How many stitches I leave blank. I got it sewed up. I left like 25 stitches or so. You don't have to be exact, but however big of an opening that you want. And that, make sure it's a little bit smaller than your zipper. Go ahead and open the zipper up. And open up your bag here, and you got the right side facing you. And you want to start down here at this end, and we'll be pinning it on, like twist it to where it looks like it's backwards, and pin it on like this. And since it's round, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but the end right up in here, and just roughly pin it on to about where you want to have it. And if your zipper is a little bigger, just kind of zip it up to where, put it inside here, and it should fold right in that crack. And that's where you want it to start, like there. And then you just, if you were to add a liner to this, it would cover up that zipper on the inside, and then you can just work your way around again, pinning this side. Doing the best you can, because like I said, it's round, it's going to be a little hard. You can always work with it better when you get when you get ready to sew it, you can work with it better. Okay, and then you want to get a thread that is kind of matching. There, that's just a rough draft of how you're going to sew it on. Okay, here's a thread that kind of matches. It doesn't really match that well, but that's the best that you can, I guess. And then a thread needle. Cut off a long piece of thread. If you want thread to match your zipper, you can do that too, because my thread's not going to match my zipper. Once you got your needle threaded, I double it, and then I just put a knot at the end. And just roll it through my fingers. Like that. And then I'll put a knot in it. And then if I have a long tail at the end, I'll just clip it. Okay, just gonna sew it on. Start anywhere you want. Since there's a knot on the end, I'm gonna go on the inside of between the zipper and the fabric. That way, that's where the knot's at. You won't be able to see it. You can tuck that under. Okay, and I'm just gonna sew it on. Just like this. If you're gonna add a liner, put your stitches a little bit on the lower end. That way, whenever you bring your liner up to your zipper, it'll cover up all these stitches. My stitches aren't very straight when I do it by hand. You don't even have to put a zipper in this. You could put a button or something too. It's up to you. So you just want to sew it on, just like I'm doing. Work your way all the way around your piece. Okay, once you get that all sewed up, you'll have a functional zipper. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go around this top here, these stitches here and here with a single crochet. So I'm just going to start right here, just in any stitch. And single crochet, and I'm going to go around every stitch putting a single crochet in each stitch around the top part where we added the zipper. Just around here, and then back around this other side, this top row of stitches. You don't have to do this, I'm just doing it to clean it up a little bit at the top here. And then if you want to add a liner, I'll probably do that off camera, but just cut a liner, the circle shape, and sew it in at the top, right underneath your zipper. I have a tutorial that shows how to do that, so I'll just put a link on the screen now. This shows what to do next. So just go ahead and finish going around this all, the top stitches with single crochet. Okay, I finished that at the top. And like I said, I'm going to add a liner. I just don't have the color of fabric I want. I have to go to Walmart and get it. But I'll put a link on the screen on how to add the fabric to this. But I'll do that later. And it'll cover up, the fabric will cover up all these that I put in. It's going to cover up all these stitches, so I'm not worried about that. And I went ahead and sewed a button in the center. You don't have to do that if you don't want. But you want to do that before you line it. That way, when it's lined, the stitches will be covered from that. One other thing I'm going to do here, right here, where it starts the gap open, go ahead and, you don't have to do this, I'm going to put a ruffle around it again. If you want to leave this off, you can. But just go ahead and go through the very first stitch up here. And do a single crochet. And in the next stitch, I'm going to do 3 half double crochets. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do 4 doubles in every stitch all the way around till I get to the other side. And this is going to make another ruffle on it. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around till I get over here to the other side. Okay, when you make it back around to the other side, when you get to your last 2 stitches, put 3 half doubles in the next. We're just matching the other side. And then a single crochet in the next. And then you can go ahead and tie off and hide all your tails. Okay, that's all I'm going to do to the main part, other than I'm going to line it when I get some fabric. But for the handle, you can do any kind of handle you want. I'm just going to make, you can make a long handle. I'm just going to do a little chain handle. I got some of these, and I'm going to attach them right over here. And that's going to be my handle. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. There's my handle, and I got a button here, and just a big ruffly bag, little handbag. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out all my other tutorials too. And come check me out on Facebook. That way if you make this bag, you can post a picture and everybody can see it. And until next time, have a good night.